Lesa. This is Cabin Life. And I scheduled a go live and it didn't work. So I hope you guys find me this morning. So, boy, has it been a week. This is Sunday, April 7th. What happens on April 7th? Nothing that I know of. We already had April Fool's Day. We've had a lot of things happen. So I had posted the good morning, Beth. Beth, we're not going to have a couple of our regulars this morning. They texted me earlier. And so if we have any troll problems, you're probably by yourself. And I apologize ahead of time. So, hi, good morning. Who's that? Iris? Beth? Okay. And so here we are. I'm using this is my cup for the coffee cup, well, cup, period, for the car holder, for the cup holder in the car. And I just made another coffee with coconut milk and a little bit of maple syrup. Of course, organic, of course, natural, but you'll hear in a few minutes about my health issues I've had the last couple of weeks. And so I needed something with a top on it just to be, I don't want to spill it. Oh, okay. Iris was going to travel today, was going to be her first caravan travel, I believe. I don't see dog days, but hi, if you're out there. Hi, Bernie. Yeah, I scheduled the other post and I went to click the button to start it. And I don't know what happened, but we lost it. And of course, I made it the link out on Facebook all over the place. So I hope people find me. If they're interested, they'll come. If they're supposed to be here, they'll be here. Deep breath. Breathe. You guys can probably tell by the way I look and the dark circles that I have had kind of a challenging time recently. And I have a couple of weeks. I would say that I've got spring fever. I'm done with cabin fever. I'm over winter. And yet we have a few more weeks left. Because in my humble opinion, the 12 years that I've been coming up to this property, before I didn't own it the whole time, but the 12 years I've been coming up here, if I want to miss snow, I don't return until after Passover, because Passover, which is determined, the dates are determined by moon cycles. So it changes when it is, where Easter doesn't do that. I don't understand that process very well, or I just don't remember that process very well because I don't do Easter. But I don't celebrate Easter. Let me be more clear. So what I have found in this area is that after Passover, about a week after Passover, we run the chance of having one more snowstorm and could be in the 20 degrees area. So back when I was trying to not be ever cold because I couldn't figure out a way to heat my vehicles, I would leave here by Thanksgiving and I would come back around after Passover. And that way I would be safe. The few years that I tried to be here for Passover, to have Passover celebration at my own property, that didn't work well. Everybody was too cold that came to camp. And so that didn't work well. So, okay, so that's that. If you're in Apache County, that's a pretty good, in my humble opinion, that's a pretty good estimation. So I got something, I got show and tell this morning. You guys want to see? It's my first one. I finally got an egg from the girls. Woohoo! And yeah, I'm nervous about being allergic to it, so I'm probably going to feed it to Wendy maybe at 5 o'clock tonight or maybe tomorrow morning or something. So, Miss Wendy, you want to go outside? Wendy is not wanting to come up. She's busy. But here, you go outside. There you go. But how cool is that? All this, what I feel like is sacrifice and hard work. I finally got an egg. So whoopee, woohoo. Where am I going to set it so it doesn't roll and drop? That would be the way things have been going for me lately. Yes, I'm going to tell you about that. So I haven't felt my best. I've been a little depressed. Winter weather up here is very hard. And if you've known me a long time, you'll remember years ago, we're talking, 6, 8, 7 years ago, I would put on Facebook, look at all the water people. Oh my God, I can't get out. How am I going to do this? The snow on my window, whatever, because I was living in cars up here when I would come. And now y'all have heard that I have closer neighbors who have big trucks. And they so make ruts in the road. Now, they're not doing it on purpose to make it hard for me, but it does make it hard for me. Back when I was all by myself out this direction, it was a pretty decent 2-track Jeep trail kind of road, country road that was very curvy, but I could maneuver it. And even in 2-wheel drive, when I used to have Van Tucket, I was able to get up here without any trouble. There are spots where there were puddles, and I knew about how many days I could judge, about how many days of sunshine or wind to let that ground dry, and at what stage it was okay to try going out. And so I do think some of those things are important that you kind of pay attention to stuff like that. So, not only do we watch the weather, but we watch the puddles near us to make sure we can get in and out. We pay attention to when the cattle and the elk are doing things because they get playing in the puddles and they'll make the puddles worse. Oh, my little, you guys, y'all know my signal has been really bad. I've got you on the Wii Boost. When the phone's on the Wii Boost cradle, I can't change. But because of the signal being challenging, I'm going to not pick it up and turn it around to show you outside this window right close to me. There is a water feeder for songbirds. And there was just a titmouse there and they're out of water. I missed that on my morning chores this morning. Of course, I don't have much water here right now because the neighbor's truck broke down. I have yet to put the gutters on the cabin. Had I had gutters, I would have plenty of water. There's a whole thing. Okay. So, I can explain any of that along the way. Let me do some housekeeping and let you know that I do have moderators. They will be watching for what are they called? Roles. They will do their best, but we're a little short on those today. I do have super thanks, super chats, and the little hearts and things that you guys can make little yay, comments or whatever, however you want to do that. And so later on, when people are rewatching the replay of this that's stored on YouTube, they can also use those functions. And on if you're watching the replay, there is a way for you to, I think you scroll side to side now to see the comments that were in real time. When you're out here, please remember that for me to be able to see clearly your questions or a subject that you'd like me to talk about, please put 3 uppercase Q's in front of whatever it is. And then I can notice in the small font, I can notice the little cues, and I can then, reach in and try to see what you're saying. Um, I use only my phone for all my stuff. Yes, I've had a computer before. Yes, I'm computer literate. I used to be a techie for the state of Virginia. I was involved in setting up the GPS system for the state of Virginia. I was a high-end admin person when I worked for IBM and ran a couple of project offices. And so I have pretty good skills, but I don't have great reception and I don't have great equipment. Part of that is based upon my income. And I am low income for any of you who are new to me. Um, I live on an SSDI income. I will be on that until I turn 67 because some rules changed along the way. Because of that, I'm not able to earn very much money. I can't risk Social Security taking money out of my monthly income. I can't maneuver. I have been feeling the financial crunch of life changes a lot recently. Payday was this past week. I did go to do some resupplies in another town. For me, getting to a Walmart is 160 plus mile round trip. Um, so a Walmart's at least an hour away. Not that I'm a big Walmart person, but unfortunately, sometimes Walmart has things other people don't have, and sometimes their prices are better. Sometimes, not always. And so I have been learning to use the buy it online and go pick it up at the store. It keeps my anxiety levels a little calmer. So, but I have been feeling the crunch of everything being a little more expensive. So I'm choosing carefully what I purchase because um, I not only have me now, I never intended, when I built this cabin, I never intended to live here. It was just going to be a seasonal. If I ended up here in bad weather, there'd be a way to maneuver. So this is a 12-foot by 12-foot, 144 square feet, tiny. Some people's bathrooms are bigger than this. Some people's closets, evidently, are bigger than this. In my old world, this would have been a small bedroom. So, and I'm saying my old world, growing up world, this was a bedroom size. Anyway, there's no bathroom. It's a dry cabin, dry seasonal cabin. No bathroom, no running water, no power for all intents and purposes. Um, I live here the same way I lived when I was in a van or a vehicle. Um, Most of you who have come out understand that I have uh, a Chevy Tracker. I did Chevy Tracker travels for over a year. Can't wait to be able to get back to some of that. I miss my Zuki buddies and things of that nature. But the engine blew last June in Nevada on my way to teach classes at an overland expo. The process of trying to repair the tracker went through quite a lot of challenges, and it is still in Nevada, but I found a way to get home to the cabin. So I've been here all winter in the bad weather. I feel very alone. I felt a certain amount of alone when I was in Nevada because I was basically living in the broken down vehicle behind the shop and yet near the family that owned the shop in that very rural part of Nevada. So the new challenge is trying to get the tracker back closer to here. Um, I've had a couple of wonderful people start me a recovered Lesa, Simply Lesa's tracker fund. So there's $600 in the fund. I need at least $1,000 to go make the trip to get the tracker. Now, that doesn't pay for the person who's willing to go use their trailer and their vehicle. All that will do is pay for the gas and road trip food. But there is a fund, and today there's $600 in it. If you would like to contribute to the fund, if you are in person in Apache County, you may go by Stan's Auto and Diesel in St. John's, and Stan has a fund for getting my tracker back. It's going to come to Stan's shop for Stan, Stanley, Jeremy, and the rest to rebuild engines. I did buy a new engine for it. It was not supposed to be as rough as it was when we got it. It was supposed to be able to install it and move on. It wasn't. I paid a lot of money for it in my world. I get $1,100 a month now, but when it broke down, I was only getting $1,000 a month. I paid $1,500 for that new engine that needs to be rebuilt. And yes, 16 valve Zuki engines. Okay, so it's I forgot. Am I going to say it right? It's a 1.6 liter 16 valve engine. They're not very easy to find anymore in the United States. In other countries, that's another story. But anyway, so I still need to go get it back here where my friends can work on it. It can be worked on carefully, piecemeal. I just noticed, I'm going to interrupt myself. I just noticed something. It looked like my picture on the phone did a little glitch thing. It may be buffering some for you all. So please forgive me. It's the signal where I am currently, and I'm using my WeBoost. I did find out that the WeBoost is operational, but it doesn't change the signal issues. At this point in time, I cannot afford Starlink. Yes, would I love it? Of course, but I don't have a fund set up for that. I can't afford Starlink on my own. So if we were making more money on the site and it could be done in a way where it wouldn't affect my disability income, then I would be pushing that more or trying to make more content. I think y'all understand. I try to be as authentic and open and transparent with my whole life because I feel like, if nothing else, my example might encourage one other person to try to do something with their life that might improve them or that might just make them feel better or something. Life isn't easy. And mine's not easy either. You see me online. I try not to cry about it all the time, but every once in a while I break down. And that's one of the reasons why last week I did not have our Sunday live stream, because I could not do it. I have been, like I said, a couple of weeks not feeling well. I've been struggling walking the same, and my muscles have been so tight, and I can't come up with good reasoning for why this is all happening. And yet I know, okay, I've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. I know that it's very challenging uh, for anybody with an autoimmune disease to deal with stress. And perhaps I let myself think too much about stress. I don't know, but I'm being careful with that. I just noticed we love you, Lesa from Dog Days Traveler. Thank you so much. I'm gonna I'm gonna come back in a minute and scroll through because I can't read that far away. So I'm gonna the font's teeny on the phone, but I'll come back in a minute and scroll and see what's going on and what questions or comments y'all have for me. Um, but um, so last week, for almost a week, my lower, I'm going to stand up. I'm on that stool. My lower back, right in here. One time, the doctor thought I actually had a back issue. They were talking about surgery, and I refused it, decided not to do it. I'm so glad I did because it has more to do with MS than it does my back. It's not my bones. So, um, but when that is tight, I walk funny. Now, I had an old friend. I don't know if she's still my friend because I haven't heard from her in forever. She might still be, who knows? But I had an old friend who used to say things like, Lesa, do you know that you walk weird? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she go, you waddle. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to, but it hurts, you know. So I've had that about 2 weeks. This morning it eased up. I also have had a lot of inflammation because you don't gain 40 pounds overnight. And, to wake up and I can't move my hands because my fingers are fat. And I don't think I've had an allergic reaction to anything because I've been careful with that. Some of these things might just be connected to the autoimmune disease. But whether it is or not, yesterday I was worried about being able to do a live stream today because my eye was all swollen and weird and the skin was hanging and it was like, oh man, I can't show myself like that. How do I do this? I don't, and it's hard. I mean, I'm still a human, and not only being a human, I'm still a girl. Okay. I may be an old woman, but I'm still a girl. I don't want to look bad on camera. So I thought about maybe it was the coffee. Oh, I just realized I've got soot on my hands. I tended the stove just before we started. So let's see. I may have, when I bought groceries, I may have tried one too many things that are different from my normal diet, and it may have been a mistake. It's okay. I know keeping my diet really simple really works. Carnivore works for me. I would like to read Bulletproof Diet by Dave Asprey. I can't afford it. I have not looked to see if it's in library loan that I could put on the phone. But, that's all keeping the solar, keeping a phone charged, reading on a phone screen, which drives me crazy over the time. But I do it, I don't give up on these things. So I just keep plugging away, little bit at a time. Now, not only do I take care of me and my health issues, but I recently, in December, I got Wendy. She's a Chorky, which is a Chihuahua Yorkie mix dog. She's about 8 pounds. She weighs about 8 pounds. And so I need to be feeding her about a half a cup-ish every day. I do not feed her kibble. Now, I bought kibble, and I bought good quality, expensive kibble. But she doesn't really like to eat kibble, which is fine with me. So I generally am cooking for her either chicken gizzards and livers that I can get for the store for about $2, or ground turkey that I can get at the store for a couple of bucks a pound, and rice. And I add to it things like parsley and carrots and green beans and stuff like that when I have them, or broccoli or whatever. So she gets good food. Then, because I'm here and the winter storms were really hard and whatever else, and I need good quality food, and I'm allergic to eggs most likely, or at least what the chickens eat. So I put a feeler out with some of my local friends and said, "Is there anybody getting rid of adult chickens? It's too late in the year to get chicks. I couldn't keep them warm. I don't have that much solar. So is there anybody that has some? But if I adopt them from someone, the person needs to know that if the crap hits some fan, I might eat them." So it was like, please, whoever's listening to this, right? I just sent a message out to friends, and I was like, if anybody knows of anybody, they're just tired of having a few birds. I would love to have barred rocks, and I would love to have no more than like six-ish, like, 4 to 6. I don't really want many, because I don't even know if I can eat eggs. But if we get eggs, I'll feed them to the animal. I feed them to Wendy, or I'll save them up and I'll sell them. We'll see. I don't know the answer there yet. Anyway, but when I got the chickens, I already knew where I was going to put them. So they're in what was my garden room, and may return to a garden room one day. But for right now, that's where they're living, and they're doing fine. And this morning, if you were here early, you saw this. If you didn't get here till just now, I'm showing it the second time. I got my first egg this morning. Woohoo! First egg. So, but I'm not feeding the chickens commercial grain. That's work. Now, expense wise, right about the same price ish, depending. Okay, but around the same price to feed them. But I'm cooking them rice and beans, or I'm soaking beans and letting them sprout. So there's a combination of sprouts. I'm allowing myself to make leftovers and let the leftovers be for the chickens. That's weird to me, but I'm doing it. If Wendy doesn't eat her kibble or dog food or whatever, her bowl every night gets emptied into the chicken bowl, and it goes out there. When I get big soup bones from the butcher, I will give one to the hens, or a couple to the hens, and Wendy gets bones as well with marrow. And of course, I try to take marrow out for myself, but I share with the animals so that we're getting them fed well. So that's the stuff going on with them. On Sabbath for the moment. Now, for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm a Sabbath keeper, Saturday Sabbath keeper. I don't make a big deal out of that, but I am. And so on Sabbath, I let the chickens out of their space and let them roam in my fenced yard. They can't get out. It works well. So I'm going to go back. I need to be looking and seeing what you guys are doing, because I've been talking for a half an hour already. Hang on a second. Let me go see what's going on up here. Okay, let's see. Is this here? They've changed an icon on me again. Live chat. There we go. I want to see that. I want to go way back up to the top. What did I not see? You see me reaching. Okay, there I am. Hi. Okay, so that's Iris. Today's my son-in-law's birthday. Well, I hope he has a great hymn day today, Beth. Dog days. Hey. Nice to have you guys all here. Hi, Iris. Hi, Bernie. Dog Days Traveler. Uh, I'm not seeing cues yet. I'm hunting for questions. Ronnie. Hi, Ronnie Yates. I don't recognize you, but welcome if it's the first time. And if not, whatever, I'm around. Hi, Sonia. How are you? Welcome. If anyone has a question, please put the three Qs. Thank you, Beth. I met you, Dog Days Traveler. I met you in Vantucket, Blue Van, right? Yes, you did. Yes. Yep. That was back a while because I started in van life the second time. I started in 2010, 11, right after I hiked on the Appalachian Trail. I had already returned from living in Costa Rica and then did that. That was a few days ago. Oh, good Lord, yes. Yeah, I think I knew that, Iris, that you lived at that Walmart until you got Stan to work on things. Antoinette, I didn't see that. Hi. Antoinette, as in Tony? Oh, are you the Tony Williams I know from another life? If you are, hi. And hi to your family. And if you're not, well, welcome anyways. Oh yeah, it is okay. Who's that? Three generation. Irish, you're heading this way soon. Okay. Yeah, let me know, but hang on to, don't come too quick. Only buffered for a minute. Okay. Oh, hey, Shadow Wolf, nice to see you. Welcome again. I hope you, when you're planning your trip to come back this way, that you include a trip by here, because with all the farm animals that I'm getting and whatever else, okay, I've just ordered kittens from somebody to help with the mice. Wendy's doing a great job with the mice and rats, but I need some more help. I need the cats here. I don't know that I'm going to be able to leave like I used to. I may have to become a weekend warrior. I don't know. Thank you, Dog Days. He said he loved that you all love me. Lots of people love me, and I do. I am aware of that, and yet it's challenging sometimes to be in my skin, right? We all have that. Um, Shadow Wolf says, I wonder if ducks' backs hurt too. They waddle real bad, lol. Yeah, who knows? But mine, I haven't really got it like defined well, but the autoimmune I was diagnosed with is MS. It affects your brain mylar, which is the thing that enables your brain to send signals down your spine and into your muscles. I hope I got that close. Anyway, so when I struggle, doesn't happen that much. I stay in remission a lot. But when I struggle, it makes especially my left side challenging. The other day, I'm trying to bring my wood in for the fire because I knew that we were having a snowstorm. We've had what, 2 snowstorms this week? Weird weather this winter. Anyway, I'm trying to bring wood in. I can carry it fine from the wood pile to the front door, but then I have 1, 2, 3 steps. Steps aren't that bad. I built them normal, what is it? Construction guys would know this. Um, there's a word for it, anyways. Standard height of a step is like 7 inches. Not really a big problem. But by the time I got to the front door one, I made the first 2 steps kind of weird walking, gate, whatever you call it. Kind of weird, but I did it. No, there's no handrails out there yet. Anyway, and I get to the door and I went to lift my left leg up to put it in first, and I can't do it. And so I could lift the other leg up and put that one in first and then pull, then instead I leaned on the door frame to get in the door. And I used to be really embarrassed about saying that or showing somebody that or whatever. But if you ever see me try to get in somebody else's vehicle that I'm not used to, you'll see me do weird things like which foot goes first, because some days I can't lift the left side at all. It just won't work. That was why they told me I couldn't stick shift anymore and I needed to have an automatic. So okay, so that's that conversation. I know, the first egg, right? Who's that, Beth? I didn't see, did Mary come out? Not a question really, but I seen where a woman saved the eggshells, washed, dried, crushed, and fed them back to the chickens. Yes, absolutely. I grew up with chickens. My dad used to get 100 chicks every spring, and in the fall we'd butcher a lot, and we'd overwinter some. His dad's favorites were Rhode Island Reds. They tried lots of other things over the years, but anyways, yeah, I feed eggshells back to the chickens, but I used to keep a jar here by the outdoor kitchen sink, and I would just put the shells in there and let them sit in the sun. And every once in a while, I'd take the handle of a wooden spoon and smash them. And then when I'm building the gardens, I just put it in the garden, or I'll put them in the fire pit and burn them. And then the ash from the fire pit, I also burn bones and stuff. So it has bones and calcium and stuff in it. And I can put that in the gardens. Well, you can also do the same thing with the chickens. You can give them those bones. You can burn the bones first to give them to them. I could put a little bit of the ash in on the bedding in the hen house. When I get around to doing a tire for them to have a dust bath, you put sand and a little bit of ash in the tire to make them a place to have a dust bath. That keeps down the things like mites and things that could get on them. And it's just good. It's good medicine. So yes. And if you're in the mood, if you know you're going to see me and you're in the mood, you really want to save eggshells to do something with, save them, crush them. There's other stuff you can do with them. But I don't mind taking crushed eggshells from somebody. I'm not going to buy them because I don't think I can afford that. But I mean, really, I feel kind of, weird about that. Let's see. Okay, let me check for other comments. Chickens do the omnivores. If they catch it, they'll eat it. Yes, and the first week they were here, 2 weeks they were here, they caught a rat. They killed it. It sat there a couple of days, and I was like, I wonder if I should take it and bury it. And then the next day they had taken care of it. Am I worried about that? Not at all. It's what they would do if they were out in the wild. And if there comes a time when I feel safe enough, or I feel like I want to be out in the bigger yard of my property with the chickens, I don't mind letting them roam around at all. But I first got to be sure that Wendy's trained well enough. Right now, she will chase other animals away from the hen house. She guards the hen house when we're outdoors. But because she is the kind of dog she is, I'm careful with her. I put her on a leash if they're out in the yard, like on Sabbath, or I make her stay inside and watch out the window. When I feed them, I make her stay inside. She's learning the words for stay, window, watch. It may come out in a sentence, but she knows those words. She knows wait. She knows stay. She knows quite a few words. She's doing really good. Smart dog. Anyway, chickens, yeah, dog days. Yes, back in history, The way that chickens were kept in rural areas or in Old England, when they were done with the carcasses and they had taken as much as they could, poor people would take big chunks of bone. If you ever see things from China, that's why they have the cleavers the way they do. They're heavy, they could cut through bone. Anyway, or saws. They would take big chunks of bone and boil them and do whatever. But when they got down to, we've done the best we could with the carcass, anything left over, they would give that to the chickens. And then after the chickens, the hogs would get it because the chickens will pick at. And yes, absolutely. Think of it like you see birds of prey eating carrion or roadkill out in the wild. Chickens are not, we domesticated them. They were just birds. They lived a bird life. So yes, bones. Yes, eggshells are good for both the gardens and it's good for the chickens. And in my particular part of Apache County, I do not have many rocks. Now there's big rock under my ground because we've hit it a couple of times. There's also caliche, but I don't have big rocks. Many people in this area have, is it shale? And there's other people that have like river rock stuff. I just don't have that the same. Or petrified rock. Depends the area you're in. I have more sand than I have sand clay than I have rock. So my chickens just pecking and doing their normal thing, they're not going to get rock grit for in their gizzard. And the gizzard is two pieces of muscle that have grit in it, and it pulverizes the food that they eat. And so that it's another process of their healthy. So giving them the eggshells gives them some more grit so that they can have, so it's something I do. Yes, dogs also will clean things. And yes, that's absolutely true, Beth, about if you're giving the crushed clean eggshells back to the chickens, it's giving them calcium for their eggshells. That's true. Yes, I would let Wendy, once I want to train her a little bit, because I don't know if you guys watch that guy. Can I think of his name? He's in West Virginia. I'm trying to think of his name. Anyway, he's doing a homestead thing. His dog's name is Minion. Anyways, the dog will help gather eggs, carry a basket in his mouth with a couple of eggs in it, and he will not eat the eggs without it being, given to him on purpose to eat. Love that idea. Don't know if I can train Wendy quite as good as he did, but I want her to know that even though she might get to eat this, she doesn't get to get it for herself. So she doesn't get to attack the chickens or go gather eggs. I want her to know it's, so I'm probably going to feed it to her only in her dish and be careful. Yes, Shadow Wolf, that's true. There are wild chickens running around in the Florida Keys. That is absolutely true. And not only there, but in other parts of other countries. When I lived in Costa Rica, in Alajuela, well, I was a little further over than Alajuela, but anyway, I was closer to the back road, down the mountain, on a crazy Jeep road, to Dominical. But up in the mountains there, the old man who had the property and the farmhouse that was not too far from me, He was old, lived by himself, and one day he did what you're not supposed to do, and he stuck his hand in a hole by a tree. And there's fer de lance snakes, and you have 45 minutes or you die, and he died. Well, his chickens were wild. They just were around his place. Well, they were around his place wild before he died, but then he'd been dead for a couple of months. And his chickens were crossed with pheasants. And I had a couple of them come up and be my volunteer chickens. And I was able to, um, they had a nest, they had baby chicks. I was able to help somebody catch those when I needed to move away. And so they were rehomed to a farm in that area. That was pretty cool. Heading to Pahrump to help Hawa clean up. Wonderful. Hey, Sonia. That's nice, Sonia. Yeah, no, they don't. Chickens don't actually eat the bone part, but if it's been boiled and stuff and it's soft enough, they can peck to get pieces. But it's the thing. As your health improves and the doctors say that they got you back in shape, you'll be traveling again. Okay, wonderful. Wonderful because I guess that I'm starting to consider how I'm changing my life because I don't want to be here 24/7 and I don't want to be alone. And winters are really hard here, but how do I want to have my life look from here on? And so I'm just trying not to drive myself crazy with the ideas of what do I want. Well, if I don't want to be alone, part of not being alone would be allowing company. And how do I do that and have it not cost me too much money? How do I do it and let them be comfortable? Mostly it's by allowing my van friends um, to, within some boundaries, and being careful to protect myself as well as my property itself, perhaps allowing more people to come visit, um, and working out how that looks. Um, I've thought about the fact that I could teach off grid classes here and have it, but I don't want too many people coming for that because I feel like they would come and then they'd know where I live and they'd show up in the middle of the night or something. And that I couldn't deal with. So I don't know. It's things I got, things I'm thinking about. Um, is that Brian? Oh, hi, Brian. I love you. Thank you for coming out this morning. Okay, sorry, I may not have talked to Brian quick enough. He said he had to go. Yeah, I don't know what I'm teaching you today. Do you guys have more subjects? That's right, Nate at Narrowway Homestead. That is absolutely right. Thank you, Beth. You're so helpful with these things when I can't think of it fast enough. Um, so let's see. So in the last couple of weeks, what else can I catch you up on? Talk to my son a little bit. Haven't heard much from Jeremy, but y'all pray for Jeremy, please. Jeremy's aunt Bobby passed away. They had been scrambling since his father died about 6 months ago. The family had been scrambling, bought a fifth wheel, were renovating the fifth wheel, making a place to park it for her to move her up here. And they went down to check on her, and she had fallen and had passed away. And so that just happened in the last couple of weeks. And so probably we won't see Jeremy out here today. I haven't talked to him much. He's been busy with family. Um, let's see. Also pray for Juliana, the overlander next door, her engine didn't blow, but her FJ is dead. And so she started a GoFundMe. I did not do that when my engine blew, but she started a GoFundMe in order to buy another vehicle. So I won't do that with mine. I don't like that process. And as challenged and hard as it feels for me to go through what I'm going through, God will make a way for me to get through this without having to do it that route. And so I'm just going to take a deep breath and keep doing the best that I can. Hey, Mary. Yeah, not so very late, Mary. I hope, Mary, when you're coming this way, that you get to visit this year as well. By the way, Mary, you didn't see this yet, but I got the first one this morning, first egg this morning. There you go. And if you guys visit, you can eat eggs because I'm not sure I can yet. I have Benadryl. I'm not sure. And I'm not going to test it yet. I'm scared of eggs. I've been pretty sick with an egg. So, yeah, Jeremy, yeah, pray for him. Let's see, who else do we want to pray for this week? Catherine and Homer. They are in an awkward situation in Snowflake, Arizona. In their awkward situation, the people's property that they're staying on allowed them to clean up and move into, I think it's a double wide trailer. Might be just a single wide trailer with a porch attached. Anyways, I went to visit once. Anyways, the people who encouraged them to do this, so they moved out of their motorhome that the engine blew in into this trailer on this piece of property. It's not the best situation. And then the owners of the property got them a dog that they don't want, or that Homer wants, but Catherine doesn't. Right. So, anyways, just pray for them because it seems like every once in a while I hear from Catherine during the week, and every once in a while I hear things where she's just like, I don't know what's going to happen. She doesn't feel stable. That's the words. Hi, Maisha. Welcome. So, yeah, Catherine doesn't feel stable. And I think that Homer was saying he's unclear on the future situation. Evidently, a new to them engine showed up. And so it's possible to have the engine swapped so they could get back in the motorhome. But Catherine feels like she would like to settle in a place where they're Mormon and in a place where she could be more involved with her church. They thought that they were going to retire to Quartzsite, and they're not sure. So if you could just pray about that. I'm trying not to give too much detail, but to give you enough so you can do an educated prayer about that when you get a minute. Let's see, who else did I know for sure needed prayers? Shane is moving around a little bit. Oh, Shane, here's one we can add. Shane, okay, Shadow Wolf, nice to see you. I'm glad you came out. Of course, Brian Leonard, his mother passed not long ago. She was very elderly, had a wonderful life. He's a great guy, and he's going to be traveling fairly soon. And he is planning to come here as part of his travel. Man, would I love to do part of the trip he's talking about with him, but we see what happens. My friend G is not feeling well. He told me about that in a text a couple of days ago. Oh, I'm so sorry, Beth. So your dog disappeared. Rana? Okay. Oh, oh. Yeah, that's hard. I've had a couple of neighbors with dogs disappearing as well. One came back, but the other ones no. Oh, and every time I let Wendy out, she's chasing cows. And this morning I watched her chase a coyote away. And the coyote had just done his howl. And I was like, no, where are you, Wendy? Get you inside. And I step out the door to like bring her in. She's chasing him off. And I'm like, okay. She has two little punctures, well, scratches, like they were punctures, like one tried to grab her once. I heard her yipe one time, but she's fast. So I'm not going to worry about her. I have asked Cece to please not forget that she needs her shots. Rabies is a thing out here. And I'm like, she needs her shots and she needs and Cece's the one that runs the dog rescue where she came from and had said that the reason that we paid the amount of money that we did for her was because she was supposed to be chipped, spayed, and she's not. And so I'm like, please don't forget. You said, I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying not to say much. But so anyway, you haven't slept in 2 nights? Oh, I bet. I'm so sorry, Beth. That's hard too. I mean, because our pets are family. I know. It's hard. I know. Took me 4 years to get over the Aussie passing thing. Um, and I say over. Okay, so prayers. Let's see. Who else do I know needs prayers? Oh, I was starting to say Shane's moving around a little bit. Here's one you can pray about. Shane offered when he gets time. He offered time, and after he gets enough work where he is, he offered to buy the gutter system, have it delivered here for me, for the cabin, have it delivered here, and then come, if I can finagle a guest house, have him come spend a couple of days and install the gutter system for me. He does roofing. So if his business does really good, he'll do all of that for me. And yes, I would help him with the work and stuff like that and whatever I need to do. So we could pray for his business so that my gutters could get done. That would be wonderful. Okay, what else? I don't know what else. Who else for prayers? I'm so grateful. Oh, okay. So Sam at Stan's shop downtown, he's had a little issue. He's not sure what's happening with that. It would just, God knows what's going on. I don't. Um, oh, and the guest house idea, in quotes, that's air quotes. Um, at one point, someone offered me a pop-up camper that they had gone through and completely upgraded 2 years ago, I think. They put new canvas on it. They repaired everything, made it look good, but nobody's using it. It was set up for their family and nobody's using it. And they said, well, maybe if you give the family a couple $100 or something, you can just have the thing. They said that all the propane stuff in it works, the heater, the stove, everything works. And I was like, well, propane doesn't do me personally any good, but maybe let's keep it as a thing over here. And they're like, okay, well, we're all busy right now and it's not spring yet. And I need to open it and see what's happened to it in the last couple of years. And, whether the canvas is now ripped or the rats got in or whatever. All that being said, I've thought about the fact that this might be a good way to have a guest house here so that if somebody came to visit, they'd have a place to stay. And if I could, then I could set it up, landscape around it the way I would want for it to be a little camp area off to the side. And then when my son comes to visit, or somebody like Shane, or for example, Tiny GPS, George and um, Tammy, when they get a chance to come, their bus won't get up here. And that would make it so they don't need to set up a tent to stay in, and they could stay a few extra days. So this is all possibilities. So it's actually not a bad idea. And kind of sideline, I wondered about, wow, if I did that, I could kind of rent it a couple of nights at a time if I'm careful. But I don't know if I want to. So that's that. So that's just out there. My phone has thumbs up, but it only shows 5 thumbs up. So it says we've got 27 people and 5 thumbs up right now, is what I'm seeing. So, okay. I don't know what else to talk about, guys. Who's got more? I thought about not having any more coffee to see if that would solve problems. I don't like that idea, so I'm not going to do it. Not now. I switched from all the other kinds of sweeteners to, and I even switched away from the honey because I knew something about the honey doesn't feel right. So I'm doing maple syrup right now. And I should have bought more. I need to buy more. I need to buy at some point. Oh, I've started working on moving things out of the cabin and cleaning up. I'll be cleaning in preparation for Passover in a couple weeks. I'll be doing that. I did eat a couple of things that had gluten and were not my sourdough gluten. Sourdough thing that I had done. And that may be where my problem has come. I apologize if you're seeing this stuff. Some of you know if I turn off all those functions on my phone, my live stream won't go. See these cute baskets? I bought 2. Okay. Yeah, payday just came. These were $6 each, so only 12 bucks. Okay. But I bought these for the new chicken nesting boxes because I didn't have anything for them, and I threw together something that wasn't cool. So I'm going to need to cut a piece out and then put a top thing over it, right? But this will be the new nesting boxes. I would like to buy the washable nesting things. They're like a chunk of green grass rug, I put them in my wish list for Amazon in case somebody wants to help me with that. There's 2 kinds. I'm interested in the ones that are like green grass rug or the hemp ones. Because I noticed that one of the hens was starting to mess around in what I built, and they just keep scooting the straw out of totally taking the straw out. So I'm going to have to, and I'm running out of clean straw. So clean a bale of straw would be $8, but getting it here would be a problem today. So not the roads, but the combination of the car I have and how would I put it in the car and not get the car all filthy and the neighbor's trucks down, or I would have him throw on one on his way home. That's that. Okay, I'm seeing George is sending me messages that sound like things that are answers to what we're talking about now. Um, George G. Georgie G. Um, I kind of wish G or Greg, I kind of wish one of them would come this way. But no offense, George, G. No offense, G, but G has so much stuff. I don't know that I could handle him spreading out a camp here. He'd be, he just has so freaking much stuff. And to me, it feels cluttery and feels challenging. Um, and Greg, no, Greg and I understand. I've camped with Greg many, many times and traveled with him, and I really just love it. Yeah, they are, aren't they? But these I'll be able to cut it where there'll be enough space at the bottom for stuff to stay in for a while, anyways. So, yeah. Um, and I need to put some more bedding in there with them, but I don't want to spend the money on it right now because I don't. Yeah. What about other things to pray about? I'm trying to remember. I I told you guys about the number 10 can that I had stuck up over the window a couple of years ago. It's hanging by a couple of wires from the eave of the cabin. And the reason I put it up there was this bird that kept hitting the window one day. And I was like, well, if I could just give him something to stand on so he can see that the window's not the sky and he'll stop. He was making his head bloody. It was like the poor bird. So I just went out, put a couple of screws, hung a number 10 can from baling wire off of the screws from the eaves. And I cut the plastic lid for I made sure it was not sharp inside, but I cut the plastic lid with a half circle thing and poked a hole in, and all I had was a little piece of metal. I don't know what it was. And I just stuck it in the thing. This bird's building a nest up there this year. I was gonna take it down because it was like, yeah, I don't. This bird's building a nest. I'm gonna leave it. So, oh well, songbirds. So I don't know what kind of bird they are. They have red on the top part of them, sort of like not as bright as a cardinal, but the rest of them is kind of gray. And I have a lot of titmouses here, which are cousins to chickadees, and they have the little top knot thing, and they're all gray. I have a lot of those, but this bird's a little different. I don't know what it is. Anyways, that's cool. So, do we have any more subjects y'all want to talk about? Um, I was going to show you how I walk when I don't walk well, but I described it. I don't feel like showing you. It's a little embarrassing because it's hard on my brain that it even happens. I'm rubbing my leg right now. The muscle in the back of my left leg, which is the side that's affected when things aren't going well, um, the muscle just started doing a spasm all on its own. And so I'm rubbing it a little bit. That doesn't always help, but um, it's weird when I go to walk and if I can't lift my leg, that's how I fell a couple of times years ago. Part of how I was paralyzed. I'm not paralyzed now, and it could be that I just ate one too many things different. I'm so freaking. I bought frozen blueberries when I went through Walmart this time, and I was able to get a really big bag, and it fits in the cool in the fridge. And for right now, it's been over a week. The fridge didn't unplug itself. I did. I can't guarantee it's going to keep doing that, but it didn't unplug itself. And the meat is frozen solid. Oh, speaking of that, I got to take some out for later for me to eat. Um, but the blueberries in the big bag, I just can't get enough of the blueberries. I'm just eating them and enjoying them. And sometimes I'm putting a little bit of coconut milk on top. Now I got to be super careful with coconut milk because I can't do guar gum. Wow, I'll have IBS like that. And it's guar gum, not the coconut milk. So I've been buying the Thai coconut milk that's in the little carton, but it went up. It's like $6 now. And one won't last me a whole week if I'm doing it the way I like to do it. So, anyways, so sometimes I'm doing frozen blueberries and I'm putting a little bit of that on. And if I have enough maple syrup, yeah, that's so good. It's like having ice cream or something. It's so good. Um, I think I told you that I'm cooking. Yeah, I told you that. Cooking Wendy's food, and I'm making her rice and ground turkey or chicken gizzards, or now it will be eggs or whatever, and some vegetables when I have them. I don't do well with carrots. It's weird, but I don't. Um, I found a volunteer parsley plant out in the yard. I covered it. It's doing fine. I covered the rosemary. It's struggling, but it's growing. And I covered somebody gave me miniature tulips a while back. And this will be the third or fourth year they're still here. Um, Sonia, what is the comment about? Make what a habit makes you much more mobile. I make lots of things habits. I build exercise into my life. I buy chairs that are shorter than they need to be, so I have to use my muscles to stand up. I make it so I have to reach and I do things like that. I build stuff in. So, not quite sure what your comment is. Um, Yoga. I don't like yoga. I tried it. It's not There's something about yoga that is not right for me. That doesn't mean that I don't do stretching and other stuff. I just don't do it by the name yoga. I don't know why. It's okay. So, oh, Regina. Okay, so my phone, I can't turn those things off and be sure that things are going to work correctly on the phone. So that message that just pinged was Regina, who gave me the chicken. She just got the notice and the picture of the first egg, and she was giving me yay with a whole lot of exclamation points. I've got to get her crate back to her animal crate. Yes, I build exercise into my life. Wendy will. Wendy, you're barking so much. What's going on? Wendy likes to bark at the songbirds as well. So okay. I've been feeding the songbirds. That's a thing I've done for years. I love feeding the songbirds. Did you like this sweater? I just saw my picture in the phone. I love this sweater. I think it was a pajama sweater. I don't even know where I got it from. What store? Um, this is the owie and the leg. Okay, my left leg, I don't know if you can see this, but I've got my knee bent and my toes on the floor in my slippers. And I can hardly lift my leg more than that right now. Uh, it's a challenge and it hurts. And it is part of the MS. Um, and anyway, thank you, Sonia. I appreciate that. Um, I I used to have a set of exercise bands. Oh, and I haven't put it in my wish list. I wish I had one of the mini trampolines again. Well, hi, is it Haas from Sweden? Thank you for visiting. Welcome. Haas, I think we're about done today. I'm waiting for questions or topics to talk about right now. If you have a question or something, I would love to visit Norway and Sweden. When I was little, I thought that our next door neighbor across the street, I thought that they were my real grandparents, and they weren't. And the woman, Grammy Lee, had been was Swedish, a Swedish immigrant. She taught me all kinds of stuff. I I grew up in her kitchen, crawling around on her floor. And so I wanted so badly to visit my people's home, and I'm not even related. Um, I didn't find that out for a little while, but I love the simplicity of the way that y'all kind of maneuver in Sweden and Norway. Um, and part of it's because of the weather that we think that way. Well, guys, I think I'm a little tired of perching on this stool. I'm thinking that maybe we should call it a day, unless you got more to say. I'm still waiting on the neighbor's truck to be fixed to be able to finish updating my water system. I have a few gallons of water here, but I need to get out about once a week to make sure I have enough water at the current moment. So when I went out on Friday, I made sure that I had 11 gallons of water. It's not a lot with chickens and dogs and whatever else. And yet I'm kind of okay-ish. So oh yeah. Oh, the old folks, yeah. Yeah, yeah. My grandmother was born in 1902, and I think yeah, not knowing what happened to your pets when